is let me give you a nutshell answer. We should never feel pressure when we're suggesting something to ourselves, in the sense of pressure is conscious willpower. Pressure is consciously wondering if we're doing something right. While passive suggestion, auto-suggestion, passive affirmation, robotic affirmation is just stating something to state it. And all the better if you feel confident and, expectant and have faith that it's going to happen. But even if you don't, Brooks has this great line in the book where he's like, it's great if your mind is on this and it feels great and aligned, basically, right? But it's fine if it's wandering all over the place. Just relax as best you can and say it. One of the real advantages and powers of robotic affirmations, and a lot of the stuff that Sammy Ingram talks about, is that you can say a statement over and over and over again. It doesn't just have to be 20 or 30 or 60 times lying down before bed and then in the morning. You can do it throughout the day passively, where it's like, I've chosen this statement I want to focus on, this desire I have, which can be very general. It could be every day in every way I'm getting better and better, or it could be very specific. It could be like, I want my blood pressure to be lowered, to when I go to my doctor later today, my blood pressure is going to be lower. Say that over and over again. You can be specific if you want, but usually general statements, or rather general statements, work well. And you want the statement to resonate with you, or perhaps you have two statements and you switch off between the two over the course of the day. But you can have a statement and just say it over and over again for 10, 20, 30 straight minutes as you're going through your day, as you're walking to work or waiting for the bus or washing dishes. And you do that passively. You don't have to think about it. It's not like, oh, I have to get my mind in gear. No, that's not how passive suggestion works. It's not how passive affirmations work. You say it to say it. And often what will happen for many of us is you'll say it and either something will click and it'll be like, it feels right? Like there's an energetic shift, or you'll say it and it will become like a lullaby or something nice. And it just feels good to say it over and over and over again. I can tell you in my life, often when I enjoy it most is in the morning. I'll be taking a walk, often with my daughter, and I'll just say it. And I'm just saying it, right? I say very general statements, right? Like something like, every day in every way I'm getting better and better, right? Or my consciousness of God as my supply is my supply. Or God is supply. General stuff like that. That works for me. Everybody's different. But I'll choose a statement and just say it. And I find usually by the 10-minute mark, it will become, there will be a rhythm to it. And there might be all this other noise in my head, but you just keep on saying the statement passively. And if the noise remains, it remains. But you just passively do it that way. And before bed, especially, Kuwait talked about this, you can be lying down and you can relax your body the way we kind of did at the beginning of this call. I know you were driving, but relax as best you can. And you can even say something like Brooks recommends, like saying something like this, what I'm about to suggest will be effective and powerful, or calming. Relax and then just recite it over and over again. Do it 20 times, 60 times, 500 times. That's like a meditative lullaby before bed. Kuwait really recommended that. Kuwait also recommended moving your lips, whispering. He said that helped. But you can do it in your head as well. There's flexibility there. People worry too much about, I've affirmed something, why isn't it showing up yet? Or am I doing it right? This is nothing about doing it right or wrong. You're doing it right if you're just saying it over and over again and relax. And the more faith and expectancy you have, the better. But if you have very little faith or expectancy, just say it anyway, if it's something you want. And you will see that you start to have more faith and expectancy as the more you say it. And often the shifts we see by robotically affirming are not these dramatic shifts we hear about on YouTube, although those certainly, definitely can happen. But it's more like an energetic shift. We start robotically affirming a statement for 10, 20, 30, 60 minutes a day for a few days. And after a few days, mentally, emotionally, we feel different. We feel better about what we were affirming for. Very powerful, very simple. And what's great about it is that we don't have to feel good while we start to do it. We don't have to be in like a high vibe state, right? We don't have to be doing sats even or anything like that. Like you just say it and say it and say it. What Sammy talks about is like you can say it for hours in this way every day if you do it in a non-judgmental way, in the way we're talking about, and it really starts to implant this idea in your head. Most people judge themselves about it. Marvin and I have been talking a lot about that. Marvin, are you here? I don't know if Marvin's on the call or not right now. But
Yeah.
Oh, you are here. But yeah, it's a very interesting tool. And Marvin just did a video, I think yesterday, Marvin, right, where you make the great point that it's not for everybody, right? Why I like it so much is a tool you can use when you don't feel good or in state or whatever. You can just use it anyway. But Marvin, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts, and then Jason, we can shoot it back to you too if you have any follow-up questions.
I mean, I think, Tim, you hit it on the head. Wait a second. Let me see if I can turn on my.
You sound good, by the way, Marvin. I know you're worried about your audio today.
But
I can
yeah,
see it.
I just think that I think, Tim, you said it perfectly, and I just think that people are way too concerned at how much they should do it, and instead of worrying about just doing it, but also the intention behind doing it. And I think the something that I've always said in past videos is it's this weird dichotomy of have expectations versus not having expectations. And I think part of the reason why people get resistance around doing affirmations, robotic affirming, is because they are expecting to have results in 24 hours or 3 days when they
Exactly.
affirm. So I think if you were to get rid of the expectation, like expect it to happen, but kind of like Neville speaks of and saying, because Neville himself said he didn't know the gestation period. He didn't know how long it would be. He doesn't, that time is unknown. No matter how many clickbait YouTube videos you might watch, none of us knows when you are going to get your said manifestation. No matter, you could affirm 24 hours a day for the next month, we still don't know if you're going to get what you are asking for. But I think if we can learn to expect without expecting in a weird way, um, I think that would take a lot of pressure off of robotic affirming and to just have fun with it. Because quite frankly, I think when people robotic affirm, they're not having fun with it. They turn it into a job, and they start to think to themselves, "Oh, if I don't do it, I missed a day. I'm not going to get results now because I didn't do it today." And to me, that's not the case. And so, yeah.
Love it. Yeah, great. Completely agree with everything you said. Yeah, it's people really often go about it the wrong way. And again, what I've noticed, some of the biggest benefits I've seen is it energetically shifts you if you do it in this more non-judgmental way. So it's enjoyable, right? It's like, and you're not like looking to the 3D, like it's like, have the changes happened yet? Has the person texted me yet? It's not like that. It's like, it's an inner shift. So through the robotic affirmations, if you're going to look for anything, don't look for outer signs, look for internal signs of it working. Now, Neville liked to talk about contention, which is something that Coué and Charles Baudouin talked about, which is attention minus effort, which I think is kind of what Marvin, what you were just referencing there as well. It's a very weird thing to describe, like being expectant and not expectant at the same time is like kind of like contention, you know, like attention minus effort. You know, Neville said that was like a very manifestive state once you find that, you know, or whenever you find that. And robotic affirmations are certainly a tool that can help you do that really easily. Yeah, I've done a lot of videos about it because I think it's very fascinating.